mere effort required to drag the body out and over the surface of the water on every stroke is exhausting and to some really disheartening. This video shows a number of games and drills which, if used in progression, can develop the stroke to an acceptable level in a couple of lessons. Learning butterfly with fins is a good way to go. These fins provide the swimmer with the propulsion needed to drive the body through the water at a speed where a better body position can be maintained and a more realistic feel of the dolphin kick can be achieved. Here we see the swimmers starting off with dolphin kick using a board. In this exercise, the idea is to keep the head still, let the kick start in the middle of the back and keep a continuous rhythm. This little girl, who was very reluctant to get into the water at the start of the session because she heard it was butterfly, her name is Helena, and you will be seeing quite a lot of her during this series. Now we're kicking on the side. Kicking on the side develops the kick in both directions. One arm is held in front, the other by its side, and breathe normally to the side. Helena is just getting the hang of this. This was her first butterfly lesson. Some gameplay that works well is pretending to be a dolphin. The next few progressions that you will see are the children trying to be dolphins. Here we see them pushing off under the water, looking at the bottom, arms by their side, going as far as they can under the water, pretending to be a dolphin. Now they brought the arms out to the front and trying to hold a streamlined position. Once they've done this a few times, they move into more advanced movements, which are very quickly taught. Here they are rolling over 360 degrees. The distances are held to the 10 to 15 metre mark or until they have to come up to breathe. No pressure is put on the children to stay under the water for longer than they want to. Again, working like dolphins, playing under the water, rolling around one another. The next progression involves pushing off in that streamlined position, pulling back with the arms as they want to breathe and diving back down again, just like a dolphin would do as it's moving up a river, coming up to breathe and diving down. To come up to breathe, they keep the kick going, pull back with the arms, lift the head up and dive down. The arms recover under the water. I walk up and down the pool with the children. This is a 50-metre pool. They do one lap at a time. We talk and add to the progression as we go. This time, they're going to try to drive their body to the surface and leap out of the water like a real dolphin. This requires the swimmer to pull back much harder with the hands, kick much harder as they reach the surface, try to lift their body completely out of the water and dive back in. Again, the arms recover under the water, and this is very similar to a drill used by senior swimmers called a Beyondie drill. Again, repeating that exercise, kicking really hard as they near the surface, pulling really hard as they near the surface. The head comes up and they try to get the head in before the rest of the body. So here are dolphins leaping out of the water and going in head first. Again, there is no requirement to stay under the water for any particular time. Any number of kicks may be used. When the swimmer needs to breathe, they come up and do so. The next progression involves recovering over the water. It's exactly the same drill, except that the arms come over the water and the dolphin dives into the water with the arms first. Helena is making reasonable progress there. Again, this is the second lap of this drill. The aim is to get the head down before the arms and to actually dive into the water. Helena's head is going down better now. It is important that the children are given a good rest at the end of each lap. Here we're having an extended one because the last couple of laps have been quite exhausting. The instruction for this lap is to do as many dives as possible throughout it. So here we have them doing 3, 4 or maybe 5 kicks before they come up and diving back into the pool. At no time to this point have I mentioned the word butterfly to any of these swimmers. They are simply dolphins. There's our young girl Helena, who couldn't swim butterfly at the start of this lesson. The next lesson we do without fins. Here we're starting with a board, going over some of the movements we did with fins in the previous lesson. Again, we're looking for a still head, the kick starting up in the middle of the back, and a rhythmic kick with no stop. A couple of laps is all that is necessary for this part of the progression. The arms can be held by the side in this drill or in the streamlined position. We now take a step back to earlier lessons where we learned to do one-arm freestyle breathing to the side. The squad will be asked to swim a couple of lengths using that drill to familiarise themselves with it. We will then convert this into butterfly. And I don't want to show her either. We are now going to take that one-arm freestyle, add butterfly kick to it, so that we have a drill that we could call one-arm freestyle with butterfly kick. This is leading into the main butterfly stroke. Again, they breathe to the side, preferably to the side that I'm standing, so that I can give them signals if they're not doing it properly. Helena isn't doing it properly. She's swimming on her side, so I'll stop her and ask her to roll further onto her front as she does this drill. and that's much better now. The stroke is now modified by using a straight arm recovery, making them reach towards the ceiling with the arm as it goes over. So we've got away from the freestyle arm stroke to a stroke that will more closely resemble butterfly when it is done properly. On the next lap, I'm going to ask them to continue to do that same drill, but to count the number of kicks they take for each complete arm cycle. The number of kicks that should be taken is 2. They kick down once as the hand enters the water, and once again as it's withdrawn from the water. Most of these swimmers are doing this automatically. So I have asked them how many kicks. Most of them said 2. I now show them exactly where those kicks should be done, in front and at the back. If we watch a swimmer coming down the pool near us, kick, 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 kick. One in front, one at the back, one in front, one at the back. The next progression is to continue doing one arm butterfly and changing arms halfway down the pool. This could be done after 10 metres or after 6 or 8 strokes, whatever the coach decides. But they get used to converting from one side to the other while maintaining the rhythm of the stroke. The next stage is to try to breathe to the front. This time the arm is by the side. Resting arm by the side, breathing to the front, preferably every second stroke. The next step is to bring in the double arm stroke. The squad will be asked to take a couple of strokes with the one arm, just as they have been doing, and then try 2 double arm strokes before going to the arm on the other side. So it's a combination of 2 left arm, 2 full strokes, 2 right arm. If possible, they should breathe to the front on the double arm strokes and continue breathing to the side on the one arm strokes. Now, for the first time, we move into the full stroke without fins. It's very important to keep the distance short. Long distance butterfly at this stage of their development will lead to very poor technique, which would be a backward step. These swimmers are swimming 17 metres, and some are doing it from a dive, some from a push-off. They've been asked to breathe every second stroke. And here's our young Helena, her second lesson of butterfly, and she's doing very well. The squad is now practicing starts. The emphasis here is on the underwater work. What I'm asking them to do is streamline the upper body, squeeze the ears, keep the upper body still, and work hard from the hips down with the butterfly kick. These swimmers are going at least 15 metres underwater on this drill. streamlined arms, looking at the bottom, upper body still, fast kick. Helena is not a great diver, but she is getting the hang of what to do under the water. This kick could be a little faster, and that swimmer could have gone slightly further underwater. This young man almost disappears from sight. Turns are practiced next. The approach to the wall should be fast. The hands attempt to make an upward movement as they hit the wall. The hand coming over the water touches the head or answers the telephone, and the push-off is finished in a streamlined position. Now that the squad is swimming reasonable butterfly, these head-on and side shots allow us to talk a little further about the stroke. The arm should recover low over the water, enter at shoulder width, grip the water as soon as possible with the hand, the wrist and the forearm, and drive towards the hips with an accelerated motion. Enter, shoulder width, grip the water, drive to the hips. The swimmer should try to keep the chin in the water at all times. If the chin is lifted out of the water, the up and down movement of the body becomes excessive and results in a poor butterfly. Chin in the water to breathe. Head back into the water as soon as possible after taking the breath. Two kicks to the arm cycle. Kick, 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 kick. And that young man is swimming good fly. Coaches and teachers, the importance of keeping butterfly swims to short distances during the learning phase cannot be too strongly stressed. These youngsters should never be asked to swim past the point where good technique is lost. So be prepared to accept swims of 15 to maybe 17 or 18 metres initially and work up from there. Even when young swimmers achieve some mastery of the stroke, the distance used in training situations should never be excessive. Measure your success as a coach not by the progress made by your most talented swimmer, but instead